member of parliament here. सरोज जी, पार्लियामेंट में जो दिक्कत आ रही है वो कहां से आ रही है? क्या आप लोग डिसरप्शन को स्ट्रैटेजी बना के इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं या सरकार आपको प्रवोक करती है?
First of all, I would like to thank the Times Now group for having me here. And देखिए, हमको समझना पड़ेगा कि पार्लियामेंट किस चीज़ के लिए है. पार्लियामेंट, जब आप मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट इलेक्ट होकर जाते हैं तो आप लोगों की समस्याओं को रखने के लिए वहाँ पे जाते हैं. बहुत से ऐसे मुद्दे हैं जो हम डिस्कशन चाहते थे पार्लियामेंट में होने चाहिए, और हमारे देश में बहुत मुद्दे हैं, बहुत बड़ी पॉपुलेशन है, बहुत डाइवर्सिटी है, बहुत कल्चर्स है. हम डिफरेंट पार्ट्स ऑफ इंडिया से आते हैं, मुद्दे बहुत हैं, लेकिन मुद्दों की प्रायोरिटी किस तरीके से, और टाइम बहुत कम है पार्लियामेंट में. तो कभी कभार कुछ मुद्दों को प्रायोरिटी देकर के डिस्कशंस विपक्ष चाहता है, तो उस पर मुझे लगता है कि स्पीकर को और गवर्नमेंट को उस पर डिस्कशंस अलाउ करने चाहिए. जब वो डिस्कशंस नहीं होते हैं तो एक फॉर्म ऑफ प्रोटेस्ट ही हम कर सकते हैं, जिसकी वजह से मुझे लगता है कि शायद सरकार को वो पसंद ना आता हो या स्पीकर को पसंद ना आता हो, तो एडजर्नमेंट हो जाता है.
नहीं, ये जो फॉर्म ऑफ प्रोटेस्ट आप बोल रहे हैं नवल किशोर जी, सब तो देखते हैं, ये तो मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट खुद हैं तो वो बता रहे हैं, बट फॉर्म ऑफ प्रोटेस्ट में भी तो सर एक लाइन होनी चाहिए ना, जो हम जिसको कहते हैं सीमा होनी चाहिए. ऑल लाइन्स हैव बीन क्रॉस्ड. प्रोटेस्ट के नाम पे आप देखिए संसद से सड़क तक क्या हो रहा है. कोई एआईएमआईएम के एमएलए हैं, उन्होंने बोला हम सिविल वॉर कर देंगे अगर वक्फ बिल पास हो गया तो. पार्लियामेंट के अंदर पेपर के प्लेन्स बना के फेंके जाए जाते हैं. चेयर पे भरोसा नहीं है विपक्ष का, तो फिर आगे बढ़ेंगे कैसे हम?
नहीं, देखिए, विमर्श का जो लेवल है उसको गिराया किसने है? जो सरकार में 10-11 साल से है वो है, या विपक्ष में जो लोग हैं वो है? पार्लियामेंट को जब हम मानते हैं कि हाईएस्ट लेजिस्लेटिव बॉडी इस देश का है, तो वहाँ पे डाइवर्सिटी ऑफ वॉइसेस को मौका नहीं मिलेगा, तो फिर इन्फॉर्म्ड निर्णय कैसे होंगे, डिसीजंस कैसे होंगे जो कि जनहित में होंगे? क्योंकि कोई अपने लिए नहीं बोल रहा है पार्लियामेंट में. जो जिनको रिप्रेजेंट करता है उनकी बातें रखता है, जो जिस तरह से लोकतंत्र को समझता है अपनी बातें रखता है, लेकिन जो निकल के उसमें आता है मुझे लगता है कि वो बेहतर होगा. लेकिन जब पक्ष के लोग बोलते हैं तो स्पीकर के चेहरे पे मुस्कान होता है, और जब विपक्ष के लोग बोलते हैं, सुन लीजिए, तो चेहरा परेशान होता है. ये पूरा देश देखता है, केवल मैं नहीं बोल रहा हूँ, आप देख सकते हैं पूरे डिबेट में. तो सवाल ये है कि जो 11 साल से डिप्टी स्पीकर भी नहीं दे पाए हैं, उनको लोकतंत्र में क्या विश्वास है?
नहीं, तो क्या यही रीजन है डेप्यूटी स्पीकर नहीं है? जो स्पीकर है आप उनका तो सम्मान कर नहीं रहे हैं. नोबडी, आई थिंक, इन दिस हाउस, डॉक्टर रंगनाथन, विल डिसएग्री the level at which this discourse has, dipped, fallen. This is unprecedented, and it is, getting worse by the minute. I'll come to you because, you are the national spokesperson of all right-thinking people. We have the national spokespersons of political parties here, which is why, I've maintained distance. It's strategic hai. But, Salem, things like mimicking the vice president, who's the chairman of the Rajya Sabha. I'm sure you remember that video. Rahul Gandhi, who's now the leader of opposition. He wasn't the leader of opposition then. But fair enough. I mean, is this the kind of behavior, that we should condone or expect from our leaders?
See, most problem in this country would be solved if the incumbent party, right, the leaders of the incumbent party here, right, if they understand, if they can recollect what they said before they came to power at the union level. What Prime Minister Modi spoke about federalism when he was a chief minister of Gujarat. He said federalism is the backbone of this country. What Jetli spoke about parliament, when the parliament was disrupted by the BJP, Jetli came and said protest is one of the ways in democracy. He said it should be accepted. Disruption is acceptable form in a parliamentary democracy. But let me tell you this. I may or may not like Prime Minister Modi, but he is the Prime Minister of this land. You may or may not like Rahul Gandhi, but he is the leader of the opposition. So if the BJP has only garnered 35% votes, which means it represents only 35% of the people. So the opposition represents 65% of the people. So the leader of opposition represents 65% of the people. So by which what I mean is that Prime Minister comes and speaks on Kumbh Mela, and leader of opposition wants to speak on Kumbh Mela. He was not allowed to speak. And again, we were not allowed to speak on Manipur. We were not allowed to speak on Delhi violence. Many matters. So this is travesty to democracy.
No, but how are you saying, Mr. Dharnidharan, that discussion on Manipur didn't happen? People saw it. You can ask people here. I mean,
No. See, it happened, but how did it happen?
How should it
After
happen?
how many months? Right? Kumbh Mela. Why was the leader of opposition not allowed to speak after that? Our Prime Minister spoke. He wanted to speak on the same day. He was not allowed to speak. It happened a few days back. Right? Delhi violence discussion did not happen. Galwan, the discussion did not happen. 20 of our soldiers were killed by the Chinese army. The opposition wanted to speak on that. So disruption is a form of, is an allowed form in a
Of
parliamentary
course,
democracy.
but you know, when you say this logic that Modi government is only 35%, voted by only 35% of the people, and opposition is 65, and which is why they should be allowed, or mollycoddled, so to say, you didn't use the word I am using. Will you extend this logic in state assembly? Look at what is happening in West Bengal, in Tamil Nadu, the state that you come from. AIADMK members were suspended. It has happened in Karnataka, which is ruled by the Congress. This logic does not, is put in practice then.
No, see, I think that's not the right approach. I'll tell you this, right? There's a saying, right? Opposition has its say. Treasury benches has its way, right? At the least, what we have is to say something on the matter. Let's be allowed to say. Now you go take Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, but all this you can give anecdotes. But the point is, opposition should have its voice. What is the job of opposition? To keep the ruling party under check, to criticize. For anything and everything, there could be a downside to it. So the opposition parties will bring out the downside for the betterment of the country. The people are watching, they may take it or they may not take it. Why have a problem with even to hear a voice of dissent?
Okay.
Right?
Mr. Bhatia, answer that question. Now, Salem is quoting Mr. Jaitley when he said obstruction is good for parliament, it has greater benefits, quote unquote. He is saying, why don't you follow that example?
Yeah. A very good afternoon to everyone. First of all, I would say that they're talking about discussion. To have a meaningful discussion in the parliament, you need to have a good attendance in the parliament. What is the attendance of Mr. Rahul Gandhi? His track record as an MP, is below 50% attendance. Same for Akhilesh Yadav. And I just want to say one thing. You criticize us, you condemn, you also make suggestions. Those are welcome. But when you start demeaning our rich cultural ethos, our history, our pride, when you start attacking that, that is unparliamentary and is not acceptable. Let me cite an example. 67 crore Hindus were proud of the fact that the largest congregation of mankind took place in Prayagraj. But by the opposition parties, they were not just demeaning the Hindus. They were demeaning the Indian identity. RJD Lalu Prasad Yadav called it Faltu Kumbh. Mamata Banerjee said it's Mrityu Kumbh. And I want to say this, you may hate the BJP and also there is freedom to hate the Prime Minister also. I concede. But you can't start hating Bharat, our country. And it is unacceptable that when we talk about discussion, they would indulge in unparliamentary language. Two, it is a fight of redeeming our cultural heritage also. We have the right to decide who our national heroes are. Now I would ask the lovely audience here, Samajwadi Party leader, he was saying Aurangzeb is a great ruler. I want to ask, Guru Gobind Singh Ji and Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj, they gave their life to fight for the Hindus and for the minorities at that time, and we have the right to call them our heroes. But they would say, no, it is Aurangzeb which is our...
No, Mr. Bhatia,